Welcome to another edition of The Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a bit of a hero's journey into the digital realm. If you've ever looked at a screen full of code and thought, wow, that looks like some ancient, undecipherable language, trust me, you are not alone. But today, we're going to completely demystify it. We are diving headfirst into the world of programming, and we're using the ultimate beginner-friendly wand to do it, Python. This explainer is going to equip you with the fundamental concepts you need to start speaking directly to your computer. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the language of computers, move on to why choose Python, look at first steps and REPL, unpack modules and pip explained, and finish up with writing helpful comments. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the language of computers. Before we even think about writing a single line of code, we have to tackle a potentially intimidating question. What exactly is programming? Well, think about how we communicate with each other every day. If I want to ask you a question, I might use English or Hindi or Spanish. We use human languages to share our ideas, right? But here's the thing. A computer doesn't speak our languages natively. To communicate with a machine, we need a common ground. And that is exactly what a programming language provides for us. So the absolutely crucial point here is that programming is simply the process of giving instructions to a computer so it can perform tasks, solve problems, and automate work. You see, it isn't magic. It's really just a highly structured way of writing a to-do list for your machine. You tell it what to do step by step, and it happily executes those steps at absolute lightning speed. Moving right along to Section 2, why choose Python? If you are just starting out, honestly, you've made a brilliant choice. Python is incredibly widely used and famously beginner-friendly. And you might be wondering, why is that? It's because its syntax, which is basically the grammar of the code, feels remarkably close to simple everyday English. It was intentionally designed to be easy to read and write. Plus, getting started is a total breeze. You literally just head over to python.org, download it, and install it on your computer just like you would a fun new game. Let's look at Python's arsenal of features. Yes, it has that easy-to-learn syntax we just talked about, but don't let that fool you into thinking it's not a heavy hitter. It's completely free and open source. It works seamlessly across Windows, Linux, and Mac systems. But here's the most exciting part, for sure. Python is the backbone of modern technology. It's widely used in massive, real-world applications. We're talking everything from building websites to powering data science and cutting-edge artificial intelligence. By learning Python, you're literally picking up the exact same tool used by the world's top tech companies. All right, Section 3, First Steps and REPL. Take a second and let this sink in. Print Hello World. This right here is the traditional first program anyone writes. Notice the word print. That's a built-in function in Python. If you type this exact line into a file, let's say we call it hello.py, and then you execute it, your computer will literally display the words Hello World right on your screen. Just like that, you've successfully given the computer an instruction and it listened. But what if you just want to test something out really quickly without creating a whole new text file? Well, that's exactly where REPL mode comes in. REPL stands for Read, Evaluate, Print, Loop. Basically, it's a way to use Python directly from the terminal. You open your terminal, type Python, and boom, you can instantly start talking to it. It essentially becomes the world's most powerful calculator. You can do quick math operations, test out small bits of code, and see the results instantly. It is the absolute perfect testing ground. Which brings us to Section 4, Modules and Pip Explained. You know, one of the best things about programming is that you almost never have to reinvent the wheel. A module is simply a file containing code written by somebody else, which you can import and then use in your own programs. Think of modules like these incredibly powerful spell books that you can borrow from a library. Instead of spending hours learning how to write a complex spell from scratch, you just borrow the book and cast the spell. It saves an unbelievable amount of time. And this brilliantly illustrates the two types of modules you're going to encounter. First, we have built-in modules. These come pre-installed right in the box with Python. Things like the OS module for interacting with your operating system, or random for generating random numbers. But then we have external modules. These are highly specialized pieces of gear, like TensorFlow for complex machine learning or Flask for building web applications, that you actually need to go out and fetch yourself. So how exactly do we fetch those external modules? Well, that is where pip comes in. Pip is the official package manager for Python. Think of it as your personal delivery mechanism. When you realize you need a specific, powerful tool that isn't built in, you use pip to reach out to the internet, grab that nodule and install it right onto your system so you can use it. Let's see pip in action, moving from theory to application right now. Pip install Flask. That simple command is all it takes. By typing this into your terminal, pip goes out, downloads the Flask module, and installs it for you. In literally just 3 words, you've vastly expanded what your entire Python setup is capable of doing. And finally, Section 5, Writing Helpful Comments. When you write code, it's actually not just for the computer. It's for you in the future or for other humans who might read your work. Comments are text in a program that the programmer does not want to execute. They are completely 100% ignored by the computer. You can think of them as secret messages or sticky notes left for human eyes only. We use them to explain complex logic, mark down the author's name, record the date, or really just leave helpful tips for ourselves. So how do we actually write one? Well, to leave a quick single line of explanation, we just use the hashtag symbol. Anything you write on that line after the hashtag becomes completely invisible to Python when it runs the program. It's the perfect quick little tag for a brief explanation. But what if you have a whole lot to say and need more space? Instead of putting a hashtag on every single line, Python actually lets you use triple quotes. This creates a multi-line comment. You can write entire paragraphs of explanation between these quotes, making it absolutely ideal for detailed documentation or explaining a really large block of code without cluttering things up. Well, we've covered a ton of amazing ground today. You now understand what programming actually is, why Python is your absolute best starting point, how to write your very first command, how to borrow power using modules in pip, and of course, how to document your journey with comments. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you have this basic blueprint, what real-world problem are you going to solve with your very first line of Python? The digital world is waiting for you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.